Hello everyone, welcome to the AI and Software Engineering update of week 12 of 2026. Let's cover the top 5 news last week related to AI that will impact software engineering field. At number 5, we have GPT 5.4 Mini and Nano launched by OpenAI. Basically, these are smaller, faster models for coding assistants and parallel sub-agents. So GPT 5.4 is the best model available right now. However, it is costly when it comes to usage. So OpenAI has provided this mini and nano models. So mini is a faster, lighter model which is good at coding. Similarly, nano is also a very fast one, cheap model that is specifically tuned for certain usages. Basically, it comes to a cost-driven decision where instead of using your best model for everything, OpenAI is giving you an option to have a faster, cheaper models for probably less critical tasks like sub-agents or some other smaller coding assignments. So you can use your GPT 5.4, the best model for planning, whereas you can use one of these models for your less critical tasks. Coming to the performance, as you can see on screen, this is an average of all the five benchmarks scores of these four models. As you can see, GPT 5.4 is the best model here. GPT 5.4 Mini has comparable performance. When it comes to Nano, it's not that great, but it's better than 5 Mini. So this provides an option for all the users or companies to have a choice of using the costliest model for everything versus use some less costly, faster models for certain less critical tasks. So you can think of it as another way of solving the cost problem. Last week we saw Nemotron model launch from NVIDIA, which was trying to solve the same problem by efficiently utilizing the GPUs by having a mixture of experts concept where within the model there are multiple smaller models and it delegates to certain sub models and engage only that part of the system for certain tasks. So this is another attempt at solving the similar problem. I feel NVIDIA's approach is superior to this. However, let's see how it evolves. At number 4, we have GitHub Copilot long-term support models. So most of you in the software industry will be familiar with the concept of long-term support. Let it be programming languages like Java, let it be operating systems like Ubuntu. Everyone has this concept of long-term support, right? Long-term support means it's a guaranteed long duration support where the provider will make sure that bug fixes are done and any issues are addressed, updates are given, etc. Okay. So now with this move, Copilot is bringing that same concept in AI model world, where Copilot is saying GPT 5.3 codex will be supported for 12 months for sure. That means for next 12 months, you or your organization can be guaranteed that Copilot won't take out GPT 5.3 codex. How does it impact the ecosystem? Number one, for developers, Copilot will be more predictable. You can continue to use the same model for a longer duration. Don't worry that on a particular day, Copilot will announce that from tomorrow onwards, this model is not supported, so you switch to the latest model. Okay. For companies, security and compliance team get more time. Right now, whenever a new model is published, to open it to all the developers, any companies, governance and compliance team will have to spend considerable amount of time evaluating, checking security labs, etc. So with this long-term support, they will get more time to plan for using the next model. For engineering managers, less disruption, less approval or paperwork, and less retesting. So it's a good news because many teams and companies spend a lot of time getting approval for new models, etc. So this is a good move. However, I'm not sure how much applicable it is because the pace at which new models are getting released and the way the model ecosystem is evolving, you're definitely going to get more and more models within this 1 year duration. I'm not sure you would prefer to stick to an older model just because Copilot is providing long-term support. So maybe in future when we have a better model which is more stable, maybe when we reach that saturation or peak level of performance, probably then it makes more sense so that you have a very stable, very good model and you can continue to use it for a long time without worrying. At number 3, we have Google Cloud Platform making AI more operational. This is an interesting move. So those who are into the infra side or architecture side, you would know about making your application redundant, highly available, and disaster capable. Okay, so Google Cloud is introducing the same concept into the AI model world. Google is bringing the same concept into the AI world, where they have introduced something called GK Inference Gateway. It's kind of a gateway to route your model traffic to different clusters, different Google Kubernetes clusters where the model is running. So it supports multi-region, multi-cluster kind of configuration. So there are multiple benefits here. So the first benefit is that you can distribute your AI workload across the globe and make sure that disaster recovery is much faster. And also you can enhance the scalability, resilience, and efficiency of your AI model. So efficiency in such a way that, imagine there is a data center where a lot of GPUs are unused. You can route your traffic to that data center, balance the load across data centers. So it's a good move, but there's nothing new, like just that concept that's already there in the infra and a DevOps world. They're bringing it into the AI world. And another aspect to consider is there are two ways to run models in Google Cloud. One is Vertex AI, and another is this new Google Kubernetes engine-based solution. So if you prefer having redundancy, high scalability, etc., then you can move to Google Kubernetes engine-based this GK Inference Gateway. At number 2, we have a new product from NVIDIA. It's called nano. So it's kind of a sandboxed way to run OpenClaw. Last week we discussed about OpenClaw, which is a platform to make your own agents and run it in your machine or in your host. So one challenge, as we discussed with OpenClaw, was that the security aspect, where the OpenClaw gets access, or the agents running in OpenClaw gets access to your entire system, and you don't have any control on what is getting used by these agents. Okay, so if a malicious agents decide to send your files to online, so you will have less control. Or when it comes to an enterprise where you have like more confidential data, so giving OpenClaw access to the user's entire machine is always risky. So last week we saw that nano, which is a miniature version of OpenClaw, supports Dockerization. So your host is protected, one layer of protection by Docker and its container, so that the file access is limited. Now this is again trying to solve the same problem in a different way. So NVIDIA has introduced something called OpenShell, and this OpenShell and OpenClaw together, it has packaged as nano. It's a one-click installation. Once you install it, you get OpenClaw in a sandboxed version. Sandbox in the sense it's like a protected version, one layer of protection using OS policies. And this makes sure that any file system access, any network access, any model access, everything is controlled by the policies that you define. So one way of protecting your data in your OS from the OpenClaw and its agents. So NVIDIA is not using any new technology here. It's using the existing Linux capabilities and concepts. However, it's like very easy to install and use. Useful product for whoever want to use OpenClaw. Let's not forget, strategically here there's an important point to consider. Strategically, we are going to a world where there are multi agents, and each agent probably using more than one model. Okay, so the policies and governance cannot sit inside a model. It has to be moved outside. So strategically, this move also means that NVIDIA is moving the policy management or governance outside of the models and introducing a new component there, right? So in future, this policy is defined in this outside shell or the orchestrator can be applied to multiple agents, multiple tools, or MCP servers, anything in the ecosystem. So strategically, it's like moving your controls or governance outside the models, which is a good move. Coming to the most important news for the software engineering industry, OpenAI has announced that they will acquire Astral. So those who are not familiar with the name Astral, it's a company providing Python tooling for developers. Okay, so they have mainly three tools. One is Rough. It's a very fast Python linter and formatter, and it's very fast means the performance is much faster than other open source or other alternatives. Then they have UV, a fast Python package manager and environment manager. So it helps you install dependencies, manage Python versions, etc. Then there's also a third tool, TY. It's a fast Python type checker and language server used to find type errors, improve editor support, etc. Basically, it's a static code analyzer you can think of. So with this move, OpenAI is bringing these Astral tools into Codex, AI's coding agent like anti-gravity or cursor. the Codex platform will have a built-in support for these Astral tools. Okay, and Astral is heavily used by developers. So basically, OpenAI is enhancing their Codex system and placing it better against other players. And as you know, Python is the most important language these days because most of the AI development happens in Python. So considering that, it's a strategical move to make the Codex platform more attractive for Python developers. Most of these companies, AI companies, they are moving from just providing smarter models to providing the entire SDLC ecosystem for teams. So this is another move towards that direction. So it's an interesting move, and I'm sure a lot of Python developers will benefit. At the same time, the Codex adoption may increase. Coming to the last section of our video, quote of the week. This week's quote is from the CEO of NVIDIA. So he is saying the OpenClaw is the operating system for personal AI. And he's saying it's a pivot point where there's a beginning of a new renaissance in the software. Obviously, OpenClaw is one of the most active and popular open source project now. And he's right in saying that it's going to be kind of an operating system for the AI, personal AI agents. So if you have not tried OpenClaw, try it out. With that, let's wrap up this week's updates. Thank you for watching. Wish you a very good week ahead.